The Audi RS3, an abundance of power in a compact four-wheel drive. Compared to its predecessor, the second generation has been perfected even more. But what are the limits of the vehicle from Ingolstadt? Time to put the compact vehicle through its paces. After entering, the RS3 Sportback conveys an equally good feeling. Even at the slightest touch of the accelerator pedal, the four-wheel drive sounds as if it has a tremendous amount of power. Thanks to different driving modes, one drives relaxed in the city. In comfort mode, the Audi whirs quietly and flows with the traffic. One can also save fuel and energy with 367 horsepower. Because the engine switches off before actually stopping at traffic lights, the total consumption is therefore reduced. Those who want to sometimes drive more sportily in the city can switch to dynamic mode. When the traffic lights turn green, it has an impressive sprint from standstill, and that attracts a lot of attention. Out of the city and on to the country roads. Here, the RS3 also shows that it is sporty. Not only does its sound make the hairs on the back of your neck stand on end, the handling is also direct and more fun. Its dimensions, longer and wider, make it look as if it came straight from the gym. On open roads, the RS3 savors all its power as it pushes to 100 kilometers an hour within 4.3 seconds. And thereafter, the sprint is purely theoretical until 280 kilometers an hour, and this makes it the fastest in its segment. Audi has given the second generation RS3 Sportsback an optically more sportive design than that of its predecessor. Clearly cut and a well-known curved form are the motto of the compact vehicle. The small rear spoiler is slightly longer, but primarily there for optics. RS3 letterings, large air intakes, wide exhaust pipes, the Audi showing off. In the interior, red stitching and black leather is employed. The ventilation elements are reminiscent of an aircraft turbine and round off the modern interior. .367 horsepower in 4.3 seconds to 100. This driving fun is available in Germany from 52,700 euros. Sportily tuned suspension, agile handling, direct steering. The Audi drives very powerfully and nimbly through every curve, and the vehicle from Ingolstadt obviously feels quite at home here. Even with its almost 6 centimeter longer wheelbase compared to its predecessor, the four-wheel drive lies like a board on the road and can be driven particularly lively. At 8.1 liters per 100 kilometers, the RS3 should have about 10% less consumption than its predecessor. In practice, it is a bit different. If the driver likes to accelerate, the Audi acts like a little boozer and then easily consumes around 15 liters. But but those investing almost $53,000 in this car will certainly not have any problems with that. In everyday life and on country roads, the Audi moves extremely sportily, and at higher speeds is also a lot of fun to drive. So far it has done really well, but how will it do in more difficult terrain? On the narrow mountain passes of the Alps, the RS3 plays out another trump. In sports mode of the vehicle dynamic control, the driving forces are directed earlier and more powerfully to the rear axle. This provides the rear bias drive in conjunction with the sport chassis maximum driving pleasure at fast speeds. With little braking thrusts on the inside wheels, the car turns a bit into the curves and helps the driver find the ideal line. The 2.5-liter engine of the Audi provides its maximum torque available at 465 Nm already at 1,625 RPM. This allows the RS3 to sprint quickly from curve to curve in high gear. The vehicle from Ingolstadt with the Audi Race Sport abbreviation RS does itself proud with its skills. To be able to keep the car under control, especially on narrow streets, is very important, and that is why it's good that the steering wheel of the Audi sits perfectly in the hand. Particularly important with a dynamic driving style, a good braking performance. If there is insufficient brake power with standard brake discs, the front axle can be equipped with carbon fiber ceramic brake discs for €4,000. That only really makes sense if the RS3 has to prove its skills from time to time on the racetrack. For the sporty everyday use, normal brakes are perfectly adequate. As a last test, the Audi needs to demonstrate its dynamic capability on snow. The compact sports car has permanent four-wheel drive with multi-plate clutch. Depending on requirements, it transfers up to 100% of the drive force to the rear axle. For this purpose, a special software has been developed that distributes the power perfectly. The stability control ESC can be trimmed to a sporty driving style or completely switched off, so nothing stands in the way of controlled drifting. The RS3 has slimmed down and now weighs only 1,520 kilos, which supports agility. Its predecessor was 55 kilos heavier. According to the motto, "You see more sideways," the compact four-wheel drive masters snow and ice with flying colors. The Audi is almost an all-rounder. It is great fun, whether in everyday life, on the highway, or in the snow. The RS3 leaves a confident impression. Particularly impressive is the ease with which it moves. It is not overwhelmed in any situation and is easy to handle even in extremely fast rides. Only its price of almost €52,700 is quite steep. Nevertheless, it is an extremely good car for someone who wants a lot of fun and wants to make no compromises in everyday use.